Hi there everybody, and welcome to another video here at Moto Explorers 555. I'm just gonna start by saying don't forget to like and subscribe, and so you can follow us. On today's video we actually went for a 3 to 4 hour long ride. It was supposed to be slightly just went across according to me, a lake. But nevertheless, it was a bit muddy, it was raining, and it was horrible. Well, in this video we actually were testing the Macna gear, which is the heated gear, the jacket. I had the jacket and the pants. My brother had the jacket, the pants, and the socks. All in all, it was a very, very cold day. It was about 2 degrees, and while you're riding and you're getting all the wind, obviously it gets even a bit colder. So it was freezing, and I must admit the Macna gear actually did a pretty good job at keeping us warm. But I must say I was wearing a few layers, so I was wearing a very thin layer underneath the actual Macna jacket, and then I was wearing my Paul Varson's jacket, and my jacket actually has an inner liner, or whatever you want to call it. It has that extra which sort of keeps the heat inside. So that was a few layers, and for me it was good. If I had any less, perhaps I would have felt a little bit cold. However, I had my Macna gear settings at 3, occasionally at 4, and also obviously I have the heated Oxford grips, which they do a really good job as well at heating your hands and keeping them warm, even though, to be fair, when it's very cold, it's actually your hands can still get cold. So perhaps having heated gloves actually would help. So that might be something I may consider, even though I'm not really planning on doing any rides in winter. It's not quite my thing. I mean, it's nice to go out, but I prefer not to go out when it's raining. If it was nice and sunny, perhaps it'll be okay. But in these particular weather conditions, it's hard to see. Everything gets wet. Your helmet gets wet and steams up and whatnot. So perhaps it's a bit taking an extra risk that maybe is unnecessary, as I am not really riding for a job here. We are riding for leisure, for having a break, for having a rest to life in general. So life is stressful enough, so the last thing you really want to do is go out for a ride, and if you can't handle certain things, you don't want to stress even more. and that perhaps would be me, where I'm worrying about getting an ice patch or hitting some black ice and then falling, when I could have been nice and warm at home. So anyway, we did enjoy the ride. It was we did come across some ice and whatnot, but nevertheless the heated gear was doing really great. It was doing a good job. There is a couple of things that perhaps we discovered as we go along here. One is that if Macna came up with an idea where you can switch on, for example, if you press the button on your jacket, would it be possible for it to switch on your trousers and perhaps your socks and your gloves if you had all the gear? Because you have to switch everything individually. So, and the problem with that is that you need to connect yourself to the bike to power everything, and then you need to find each individual button to switch on each individual bit of clothing. So you have to get the most awkward is getting the socks on, because you have to lift your motorcycle pants and whatnot and find the buttons, and your cable has to be long enough for you to be doing all these movements, all these yoga movements to get each individual bit of clothing on. And the other thing that maybe could help is that if there was a button with a memory setting on the phone, so once you get on the bike and you go to the Macna app to control your gear, if everything was on, then you press this memory button, where all your individual clothing will go into its individual settings that you had chosen previously. That way you don't have to be messing around with things while you're riding. Or obviously it's easy enough to stop for 5 minutes, open the app if you're not following a map, and then set up your individual bit of clothing. But I mean, as in the heat, how much heat you want on your feet, how much heat you want on your jacket, gloves, etc. So perhaps a few features that can be added to the app, and also perhaps the fact that if you could switch on the jacket, which is probably the easiest point, then could the jacket switch on all the rest of the gear? I'm pretty sure this has been discussed or talked about. I'm not sure 100%, because, as I normally say, I'm fairly new to the whole thing, and therefore I am not an expert. So, having said that, I'll let you enjoy the rest of the video, and as I mentioned before, don't forget to like and subscribe. If you have any questions or any queries how we did anything in particular, or anything about the Macna stuff that we bought, then by all means you can ask us anything, and if we know the answer or we can give you any advice, we'll do so. If we don't know the answer, we'll also tell you we don't really know. So goodbye for now, and until our next video, and thank you for watching.